Jo, ein ganz warmes und herzliches Willkommen from Hamburg to the second installment of the Nimble video how-to walkthrough. This time I'm going to show you a technique I call the block-in technique, and I'm going to jump right in using again my these days favorite painting program, Procreate. I'm going to set up a custom canvas this time. I'm going to use a more cinematic format, which I kind of prefer these days because it's kind of is more exciting to work with. Before I start showing you the technique, I'll be just building up a background quickly. What I want to do is I want to have a sky with some planets in the background. So I'm using my grayscale palette again this time, so I can focus on the tonal values of my piece. I'm filling the background with a mid-tone gray just to get rid of all white from the beginning. And to create the clouds, I have actually prepared a brush that I created myself. It's actually a bit of a weird brush, but in Procreate you can easily create your own brushes using a shape and a pattern file. And in this case I just created a new one using a shape and a pattern from the Pro library. It's actually a bit of an experimental brush in this case, but you can see it kind of yields a cloudy fuzzy result, and this is how the import files look like. That's quite a powerful feature in Procreate, which I really haven't tapped in extensively yet, but it's really big fun. So I'm going to use this brush, created a new layer, and I'm going to pick a lighter color from my grayscale palette, and just gonna start building up this fluffy cloud. Really nothing exciting. I then switch over to the smear tool and use the same brush and just kind of blend those lighter colors a little, so like a nice and fluffy cloud in this case. That's really as far as I want to go at this time. I'm going to create a new layer now by pinching those two layers, and it's going to create a new layer in between the background and the layer I just created. And I'm using the hard airbrush, the hardest I can find, because that creates a really nice round shape. That's as closest as you can get to a round circle shape. I'm going to pick a darker color here, so to make it a bit of like a dark star planet there in the background. You can easily move the contents of the layer around using the transform tool in this case. Really, again, this is just to build up the background. Before we start with the method I want to show you, I just want to mention that I learned this from famous Spanish finger painter Luis Peza, who showed it to me when he was in Hamburg. And I know he created one of his great paintings using this method. So what I did now is I created a new layer on top of everything. I'm using pitch black as a color and a charcoal brush, and I want to paint a tree now here in the foreground. And what I do is that I just basically start to block in the shape of the tree. I don't really pay much attention to light or anything. I just want to have a rough shape of the tree. Okay, now that I'm done with the initial version of my tree, I'm gonna set the layer to lock transparency. I do this by, as you can see, sliding the layer to the left. So you can set it on and off. The little blue alpha icon appears. The layer is set to locked transparency, meaning that all transparent areas on that layers are now locked, so you can't apply paint to it, which makes it easy for me now to apply paint to the blocked in shape of the tree I've done before. So don't really need to be careful at all at this point. Just gonna start adding some light, some secondary light, and then some highlight to the shape, and that way I can just work on the shape of the tree I created before. Now this is pretty much an iterative process, so now I can go back into shaping the tree a little more. I just removed the lock transparency mode from the layer, and I'm gonna add a little bit to the right side of the tree, a little bit of foliage there, and that's also like a core of the whole process, that you can just start with a rough shape and add some color, and then go back, reshape the whole thing until you're happy. So at this point I've added some color using the chromatic technique I showed you in the last issue of the Nimble, and I'm just going to add another figure here using the same blocking technique in a very simple way, just to quickly show you again what the idea behind that technique is. So that's pretty much it. Very simple piece created using the blocking technique. I'm going to show you some more pieces created that way. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure if you create something to upload it to our Flickr group.